Vulcans, masters of logic, paragons of reason, the most enlightened race in the galaxy, or so they tell themselves. But beneath the IDIC, infinite diversity and infinite combinations symbol, and the mantra of infinite diversity, there is a quiet, persistent bigotry, a prejudice against emotion, against humanity, against anything that does not fit their perfect mold. And no relationship reveals this more clearly than the one between a father and his hybrid son, Sarek and Spock.
What is this?
I believe we are witnessing my birth.
Sarek, your son.
So human.
From the moment of his birth, Spock was judged so human. Not pride, not joy, disgust. You can even see his jaw clench, disappointment. The hybrid child of a Vulcan diplomat and a human woman, already a flaw in Vulcan eyes. Vulcan bigotry is not a bug, it is a feature. In Enterprise's Broken Bow, Vulcans treat humans as emotional children, too primitive for the stars, too reckless to be trusted.
Until you've proven you're ready.
Ready to what?
To look beyond your provincial attitudes and your volatile nature.
Volatile? You have no idea how much I'm restraining myself from knocking you on your ass.
In the 2009 film, the Vulcan Council minister calls Spock's human mother a disadvantage, a disability right in front of the entire assembly, including Sarek, and he sits silent. He does not defend her. He does not defend his son. This is the foundation. Vulcan superiority demands emotional suppression, racial purity, conformity. Anything less is weakness. A hybrid son is a living embarrassment.
It is truly remarkable, Spock, that you have achieved so much, despite your disadvantage.
If you would clarify, Minister, to what disadvantage are you referring?
Your human mother.
Council. Ministers, I must decline.
No Vulcan has ever declined admission to this academy.
Then as I am half human, your record remains untarnished.
In Journey to Babel, the pattern is set. Sarek rebukes Spock repeatedly, refuses Captain Kirk's offer of having Spock be the tour guide of the Enterprise.
I'm Spock. Vulcan honors us with your presence. We come to serve.
Your service honors us, Captain.
Thank you. As soon as you're settled, I'll arrange a tour of the ship. Mr. Spock will conduct you.
I prefer another guide, Captain.
As you wish, Ambassador.
When Captain Kirk invites Mr. Spock to explain the computers, Sarek snaps at him about having provided Spock's childhood lessons. Amanda calls out the 4-year absence, and either in this scene or later, Spock reveals it's been 19 years of silence because he rejected the Vulcan Science Academy after their bigotry toward his human half was made clear.
And you haven't come to see us in 4 years either.
The situation between my father and myself has not changed.
Mr. Spock, a moment, if you please. Explain the computer components.
I gave Spock his first instruction in computers, Captain. He chose to devote his knowledge to Starfleet instead of the Vulcan Science Academy.
To understand Sarek's position, one must understand the inherent superiority expressed by Vulcans toward others, including hybrids such as Spock. This superiority is not just personal, it is systemic, cultural, and unforgiving. Sarek pulls Amanda away from Dr. McCoy at the delegate reception and later scolding her in their cabin for embarrassing Spock in front of colleagues.
Spock, I've always suspected that you were a little more human than you
Let on.
He did have a pet sailor he was very fond of. Sort of a fat teddy bear.
A teddy bear?
Excuse me, Doctor. It's been a rather long day for my wife.
The message is unmistakable. Spock's humanity is a source of shame. Sarek's pride in Vulcan logic demands distance. Love must be hidden. And yet, Sarek is insulated by his high status. As a revered ambassador and member of the Vulcan High Command, he is largely immune to the social threats that would end any other Vulcan's prestige. The same shame that would destroy a lesser Vulcan's standing does not touch him, but that protection does not extend to his wife or to his
You
son.
embarrass Spock. Not even a mother may do that. He is a Vulcan.
He's also human.
He must command respect if he is to function.
You're proud of him, aren't you?
It does not require pride to ask that Spock be given the respect which is his due.
To secure the point that I'm making, I'm going to include two additional clips that are remarkably similar. The first one is from 2009 Star Trek of Spock being bullied by the other students.
You've prepared new insults for today. This is your 35th attempt to elicit an emotional response from me.
You're neither human nor Vulcan and therefore have no place in this universe.
Look, it's human eyes. They look sad, don't they?
Perhaps an emotional response requires physical stimuli. Traitor, you know. Your father marrying her. That human whore.
Vulcan bigotry isn't new, and it isn't new Trek. In the 2009 film, students openly call Spock's mother a human whore. The slur is raw. The prejudice is generational. But if you're tempted to dismiss this as modern invention, consider this. Over 50 years ago, in the 1970s Star Trek animated series episode Yesteryear, we see the same hatred in action. This is canonical. This is the same cast. Even in this episode, not only is it Leonard Nimoy who's voicing the older Spock, it's Mark Leonard voicing Sarek. Young Spock is bullied, taunted for his human half. The name-calling escalates to violence. Spock snaps, driven by rage. He's been taught
Emotional Earther! You're a tramp, Spock! You could never be a true Vulcan! That is not true. My father... Your father brought shame to Vulcan! He married a human!
This is not a reboot. This is canon, as I already said, from 1973, anchored in the same world Gene Roddenberry helped build. The shame, the rage, the judgment, it's been there since the beginning. Here is another clip that follows up immediately with older Spock and Sarek discussing the matter.
My apologies, visitor. I regret you were witness to that unfortunate display of emotion on the part of my son.
Sarek is judged for marrying outside his people by how his wife Amanda and his son with her, Spock, are treated. Spock is openly pitied, mocked, or dismissed for being half human, physically attacked in his youth. This shame has resonated internally with Sarek throughout Spock's life. He carries it silently, a private wound beneath the perfect mask of logic. Yet beneath the rebukes. When Sarek's heart fails, he needs Spock's blood. Spock is willing until Kirk is injured in that fight with the fake Andorian. Spock chooses duty over family.
First responsibility is to the ship. Cannot relinquish command under these circumstances.
You must turn command over to somebody else. Only you can give your father the blood transfusions. Your duty is to your father.
If I could give the transfusion without loss of time or efficiency, I would. Sarek understands my reason.
But in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, after Spock's death and being left on Genesis, Sarek confronts Kirk about abandoning Spock and protesting that Spock would have instructed Kirk to bring him to Vulcan for their version of last rites.
Why did you leave him on Genesis? Spock trusted you. and you denied him his future. Only his body was in Death, Kirk, and you were the last one to be with him. And you must know that you should have come with him to Vulcan. He entrusted you to bring that which he gave you, his Katra.
To understand the storm raging inside Sarek, we must return to the foundation, Vulcan society's deep-seated sense of superiority that we've been building upon. Vulcans see themselves as the responsible older sibling to younger, emotional, warp-capable civilizations, humanity included. Their collective disdain for outsiders is not subtle. It is cultural doctrine. For Sarek, a high-ranking patriot, an ambassador of Vulcan pride, marrying not one but two human women would have carried enormous personal and social cost. The turmoil, the guilt, the judgment from his own people, all of it would have weighed on him for decades. Yet he chose love over conformity, and that choice haunted him. What gave Sarek the internal strength to stand up for his son and make the request for the fabled Faltor Pan? Group consensus. After decades of Vulcan society eyeing their high-ranking ambassador with suspicion, after years of outright bullying of his hybrid son, they now turned out en masse. Thousands lined the steps of Mount Salea from base to summit, where Talar, the high priestess, waited. Watch this clip of Sulu piloting the Klingon bird of prey. Look at the sea of Vulcans lining the stairway. This is the moment the outcast is welcomed home. And in the version I saw in a theater in the mid-1980s, as the crew carried Spock on the stretcher, a young girl stepped forward from the crowd, raised the Vulcan salute, and said, "Live long and prosper, Spock." That child's blessing is the turning point. It's the public absolution Sarek needed to finally risk everything.
I ask for Faltor Pan, the refusion.
What you seek has not been done since ages past, and then only in legend. The request is not logical.
Forgive me, Talar. My logic is uncertain where my son is concerned.
That moment leads directly to Sarek's greatest risk. He stands before Kirk. He stands before all of Vulcan and demands the impossible. Faltor Pan, the refusion of Spock's Katra and his body. He risks his high station, his reputation, his very standing among Vulcans, and he admits publicly, "Where my son is concerned, my logic falters." Well, actually, I think it's just played it. I think he said, "My logic is uncertain." This is the crack in the facade. The moment Vulcan superiority finally yields to something stronger. A father's hidden, unbreakable love.
Returning to Vulcan within the hour, I would like to take my leave of you.
It was most kind of you to make this effort.
It was no effort. You are my son. I'm most impressed with your performance in this crisis.
In Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, after the Federation Council has held Kirk and the rest of the crew for their actions, rescuing Captain Spock, risking time travel to save Earth from its own short-sightedness, Sarek, earlier in the movie, had defended Kirk against the Klingon ambassador's demand for extradition. Now, we reach the conclusion when he turns to Spock in an effort to mend the relationship. It's obvious, but the bigger question lingers. Is it too late?
As I recall, I opposed your enlistment in Starfleet. It's possible that judgment was incorrect. Your associates are people of good character.
They are my friends.
Yes, of course.
Sarek has already lost his son twice. First, through decades of mutual stubbornness and silence, 19 years of estrangement because Spock rejected the Vulcan Science Academy and its bigotry toward his human half. Second, Spock's literal death, rescuing his cadet crew, sacrificing himself and being left on Genesis. Anyone who has experienced filial family alienation knows the truth. Once that trust is damaged, it is tough. It is damn tough, sometimes impossible, to know if it can ever be mended.
You have a message for your mother?
Yes. Tell her I feel fine. Live long and prosper, Father.
Live long and prosper, my son.
He confesses that maybe he was wrong about his opposition to Spock's enlistment in Starfleet, but is this reconciliatory action too little, too late? Only time will tell as we segue into the next generation. In this final scene from Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, Sarek awkwardly works to undo decades of distance. He admits his opposition to Spock's enlistment in Starfleet was incorrect. He expresses quiet pride in Spock's handling of the crisis. He acknowledges that Spock's associates are people of good character. And when Spock says they are his friends, Sarek does not argue. The damage is deep. The words are few. But for the first time, Sarek is trying.
Spock was always so impressionable. I never knew what Spock was doing. When he was a boy, he would disappear for days into the mountains. I would ask him where he had gone, what he had done. He refused to tell me. I insisted that he tell me. He would not.
In Star Trek The Next Generation's two-part episode, Unification, Picard travels to Vulcan to meet with Sarek. He's dying of Bendai syndrome. His emotional control is gone. The mask is gone. Vulcan bigotry made Sarek a many-layered, regretful man. He married 2 human women. He fathered a hybrid son. Social pressure never stopped his actions. It only buried his love beneath logic until the end. What everyone missed, Sarek's bigotry fueled his regrets. He expressed love through actions, through protection, through sacrifice, through late confession, but never through words, until it was too late. This is the first of a series that I am building on Star Trek's Patrilineal Legacy. In this one, we explored Sarek and Spock, a father torn between cultural pride and hidden devotion, a son who proved his worth despite the judgment. This is the end of part 1. Keep an eye out for part 2. What did Sarek's silence teach you about love and legacy? Remember, this is patrilineal legacy, what fathers pass down to sons, whether you are a father, whether you are a son, but what has happened in that dynamic. Drop it below and subscribe for more of Trek's hidden family stories.